And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review. Today, I'm reviewing Injustice Gods Among Us. Among Us? Among Us? This game was released back in 2013, I believe, on multiple different consoles, including the PS4, which is how I was able to play it. I actually got I think it's the Ultimate Edition from Jeffofthemellows. So thank you for letting me borrow this game, giving me the chance to play it. Jeffofthemellows, thank you, thank you, thank you. He beat this entire game on stream, and so did I. Not without some issues, though. It took me about 45 minutes longer to beat it than he was able to. So, take that as it may. But I got some reasons, not excuses, but reasons for why. And I got some other thoughts that I want to talk about that I didn't talk about on stream as much. Or if you didn't watch the stream, no biggie. Not many people do. But I got a lot of thoughts anyway, so let's jump right into it, shall we? The combat, there's really two elements to this game, by the way. Cutscenes and the story, and combat. That's it. There's no puzzles. There's no real other types of missions. Just you watch cutscenes and you fight. That's really it. It makes for a very, very, very short game. Like I said, I beat this in one sitting on stream. It took me a little less than 4 hours and 45 minutes. And really, it took me about closer to 4 hours of actually beating the game. The other 45 minutes were waiting for the game to boot up, originally, like starting the stream, and the buffering problems that we'll talk about at the end here. So really closer to 4 hours took me to beat this game. Not a large game at all, especially for what it seems to be hyped up to be. So, but first, let's talk about that story. We'll talk about the combat second, because the combat's the bigger part of it. But let's talk about the story first. There's a lot of good cutscenes in this game, and they do a really good job of going through a lot of the big DC characters. Wonder Woman gets her own section. Cyborg gets his own section. Deathstroke, the green archery shooting guy, I forgot his name. Obviously, Batman gets his section as well. Superman and Aquaman, and not really Aquaman, but Flash a little bit too. So there's a lot of different characters that get a lot of representation here. And the cutscenes are really, really good. They feel like pretty much like you're watching a movie, because you're not really doing anything else outside of the combat. So, a lot of good dialogue lines too. I talked about this in the Lego Batman 2 review, which I don't know if I got to come out before this one or not. It should, but I don't know if it will. Joker always has the best one-liners. Swear he does. I mean, it is without a doubt. I always love listening to Joker's one-liners. It's so good. So that's cool. But I mean, the story's good otherwise. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's a little confusing to figure out for the most part, but once about halfway through the game, I was starting to really get the hang of it. I was like, oh, these are multiple dimensional characters. So even though Joker died, spoilers, second Joker comes back and he's actually in the game. So you get that. But anyway, so that's the story. Now, how about the combat? It's very, very similar to Smash Bros. If you played Smash Bros., which is a very interesting combat style to model for making a game like this. But honestly, it's very fun, and it works out really, really well. It's a little chaotic, though, especially the longer you go in the game. I had a lot of trouble beating a lot of these enemies that I fight the first time. A few I did. Most of them took 2 tries. Some took 3 tries, and a couple took 4 tries. That's a lot. That's a lot of tries. And that's another part why it took me longer to beat this game, is because Jeffofthemellows probably did better in the fights. But, we're going to blame it on lag. We'll get to that in a minute. They also have some cool like pre-fight stuff that you do with some of the characters um to get a better start on them. Like if you do better in those, the enemy starts at less health. Or if you do worse in them, you start at worse health. However, that doesn't matter if you die the first time. And most of them happen where you are going to die the first time, unless you're doing a second playthrough of the game. So a little unnecessary, but a cool little addition nonetheless. In the fights, also, there's like these parts where you'll do like these majors or like mashups, and you have to press a certain sequence of buttons in order to like get an extra damage or you regen your health, like regain health. I could never really figure these out. I think I won like the first 1 or 2 times that I did it, but after that, I could not figure it out. I was doing the correct buttons, or sometimes it would just pop up for like a split second and then go away without me pressing anything. And it's just like, why? I can't even figure out what buttons I need to press in what order. I can't even see what buttons there are, and you're already taking it away. Like, come on. Also I found that the reason why it took me most of them 2 tries is that I I could be wrong, but I think what happens is when you die, the difficulty of the fight goes down. There's no difficulty settings, it's just one base level difficulty throughout the entire game. At least there's no settings to adjust it or anything, at least that I could find. But it just felt like to me that the fight difficulty goes down every time you die, which and it goes down quite significantly. So I guess that helps. I didn't see anything that like explicitly says that, but it just really felt like that, because there were a lot of times where I would get my ass beat in the first part of the first fight, and then we go back and do the fight again, and I win a lot more handily than I should have. I feel like, I don't know. I just that's what it felt like to me. And also another thing, I felt like the fights really, as like the fights, you get the enemy down to just a like another hit or like 2 hits, and you're doing really well, and then this enemy all of a sudden goes like on this massive rampage, and you can't attack, and they are just going to go this, and they'll get you down to like their level, and sometimes even wipe you out. You'll be like on your still on your first health bar, and they'll kill you before you even get a hit in. What the fuck? Why? And this is not just for like 1 or 2 enemies. This is for almost every enemy in the game. And it's just like, why? It doesn't make any sense. Why that would happen? I don't know if that was also programmed in, or that's just something weird that I experienced, like the decreasing difficulty. I don't know. Um, so overall, I thought the combat's fun. I thought the hardest fights in the game, there were no fights that I thought were extremely difficult. But I thought the hardest fights in the game were when you were fighting yourself. There's a few instances where this happens. I think you fight Batman with Batman. You fight Wonder Woman with Wonder Woman. You fight what's his name? Cyborg with Cyborg. And you fight, who else do you fight? You fight obviously you fight Superman with Superman. That's another one. I think that's it. I don't think you do any of the others. So I don't think you do any of the others. So I thought those ones were definitely the hardest, though, because they mirror your moves, and it's really hard to find a move to attack with. So yeah, those are definitely the ones that I found the most difficult. So overall, though, I gotta talk about the worst part about this game, and what really is going to taint my thoughts on this game. And that's how terribly it ran. And this is only for like the last like maybe 20 to 30 minutes of the game as well, which for me took almost an hour and a half because of how long the game. So first off, the game crashed. Basically crashed. The game actually did crash right after I beat it. You can go watch the live stream back, like right at the end. You see it cut out at the end. The game crashed. It's like, I think that was like the game just like finally quitting, just like finally, we're done. I'm out of here. Goodbye. I think that's what it was. But my God, it there were all of a sudden, like at one point, I think it was when we stopped like anti Aquaman's charge or something like that. We the game just like the audio just cut out for no reason, and it did not come back at all except for the fight sequences. The cutscenes were completely muted. I don't know if that's a problem for anybody else, but the cutscenes were just completely muted. And I have no clue why. Also, um, like we would go through the cutscene and then we'd be ready to start the fight, and then the game would freeze. And the only way to get out of it is to go all the way back to the main menu and re-enter the game. Thankfully, it saved your progress, but also the loading screens got 20 times longer. 20 times longer. I shit you not. It took me 10 minutes to get from the game back to the main menu, and then another 10 to get me back into the game. What the hell? Why? Why the fuck was it that long? It could have been because of bad internet connection. I don't know. I didn't really think the internet was running that terribly. So terribly, not that you could keep the stream going, but you couldn't load the damn game. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. But that, and I was getting close to needing to go to work as well. I was like right on the edge. I only had like 10 minutes after I got it done with the stream to go to work, so I was stressed. I was in a rush, and I just really wanted to finish the game. And the fights were getting really, really difficult. Oh, all right. And it was just really, really pissing me off. And that's why my views of this game are a little tainted. Overall, it is a fun game. I would definitely recommend playing it. Maybe don't beat it in one sitting. At least don't do it on stream. Or don't do it if you only have a certain time constraint. But I think it is a fun game. One that I think you should play. Especially if you're a big Smash Bros. Fan. I think you'll get the combat a lot more fun. And I think you'll enjoy it more. So, really though, my final score for Injustice Gods Among Us, I'm gonna have to give it a good. I'll give it a. I have to give it a 7. I can't give it more than a 7. This is why. Very simple structure. Runs like crap, and some weird elements that I can't dissect. That's why. So, but still a very enjoyable experience nonetheless. So, that's going to do it though for this review. If you've ever played Injustice Gods Among Us, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video as well. So stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more game reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.